Today we're going to talk about 3 reasons why Bitcoin has been going down. And it's very interesting because I had to really sort of do some research on this, on what's going on in the news. And I think it's odd that I haven't found one source that talked about these 3 reasons. I've seen a lot of conjecture on what's going on. But typically when I'd read through the article, I'd be like, that's not it. That's not a big enough reason to call such a significant price drop in the price of Bitcoin. That's not it. So I've basically kind of scoured the internet, scoured the news headlines. I'm going to talk about what I think are the 3 reasons that Bitcoin, in fact, I know in part, this is part of the 3 reasons why Bitcoin's going down in price. I'm also going to talk about, I've got kind of a bonus topic I'm going to cover about what's going on that's going to affect the price of Bitcoin more long term. And really, I want to talk to you about how to invest. I had someone ask me today, they said, if you had $10,000, a personal friend of mine sent me a text, and it just said, if you have $10,000 to invest in cryptocurrency, what would you buy? And I'm going to share with you kind of what I shared with him today. But first, let's get into this. So first things first, what are the 3 reasons? And I've kind of put these in no real specific order, but first up, I think this is major. Bitcoin and crypto market plummets as US Treasury rumors spread. This is going to be interesting, and I think it's going to be a bad news story overall. And I think that we've not seen, this is the first shoe to drop. We've not seen this news story fully flesh out right now. This is basically a tweet that's come out, and it's going to be, we're going to have to wait and see what the US Treasury Department actually does. But we may end up seeing another down leg in the Bitcoin price and or the crypto markets as a whole, depending what comes out of this. This is from the 17th. The crypto markets are reeling amid the rumors the U.S. Treasury Department may soon accuse a number of financial institutions of using digital assets to launder money. The popular Twitter account FX Hedge was first to cover the potential move from the agency, sending an alert out to 122,000 followers. And this is all it said. U.S. Treasury to charge several financial institutions for money laundering using cryptocurrency. So this is going to be a problem. Minutes after the tweet went out, the price of Bitcoin basically went from 59,000 down to 52,000. The challenge here is trying to figure out what was used, how much was used, how large are the companies that was doing the money laundering. So that's and I think it's going to be interesting. It says U.S. Treasury rumors spread. Here's one thing. When I saw this, I thought U.S. Treasury to charge several financial institutions. Which financial institution? Is this a mainstream bank? I don't think it is. I'm just going to give a little bit of conjecture here. I think they're going after, it's going to be, I don't know. I'm just guessing. But, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to guess that they're going after other cryptocurrency. They may be going after cryptocurrency exchanges, which is going to be bad. But they may actually be going after, like, library. This may be a frontal assault on several. You know, the SEC has went after Ripple. The SEC has gone after library. They've also went after Kick in the past. They went after Telegram. So that's what the SEC's done. It's going to be interesting to see if the U.S. Treasury gets in on this game. And at the end of the video, when I talk to you about, you know, kind of a long-term development that's going on, I think this may tie into that with the U.S. Treasury. But for now, there's rumor the U.S. Treasury is looking to charge several financial institutions for using cryptocurrency for money laundering. That's obviously going to play very well to the narrative. The federal government's been saying things like, oh, Bitcoin's a good hedge, but it's kind of dangerous because people use it for money laundering. And we all know that that's just simply not accurate. Yes, it gets used for money laundering, but the U.S. dollar gets used far more. And that's a bit of a straw man argument. Any of us has been in crypto, we've been in the know, we kind of know that. And as an investor in this space, you just have to be aware of the tides and what's going on. And that's kind of what I do my best to talk about on this channel, just bringing awareness and sort of trying to read into the tea leaves a little bit about what we think is going to happen. So I'm going to be watching this story very carefully. I'm going to be monitoring. And if you want to follow this, do me a favor, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned because I'll keep an eye on this. So first thing was this news story that came out. That was the first kind of negative news that came out. And then there was this. Turkey to ban the use of crypto for payments. Bitcoin falls. So all this could be coincidental, but all 3 of the stories I'm going to cover are really negative overall. These 2 particular are negative fundamentals that really can affect overall cryptocurrency. So Turkey's come out and they said that they're going to ban the use of crypto for payments. Now, the reason this is interesting, as I've talked about in this channel, is I think the U.S. government ultimately may do something like this. And if the U.S. government doesn't, I think we're going to see more governments. You know, India's already taken a strong stance against cryptocurrency in their country. Now the Turkish government has come out and said the same thing. So it's going to be interesting to see what other countries come out and say, hey, we're going to ban crypto. Now, if you go through this article, the Central Bank of the Republic of Turkey is banning the use of cryptocurrency for payments throughout the country, becoming the latest country to seek to impose limits on its use. According to the report by the official newspaper of the Turkish government and a press release by the central bank on Friday local time, Turkey's introduced a regulation on the disguise of crypto assets in payments. On the disuse of crypto assets in payments. The ban, which is set to go into effect April 30th, follows a similar move by Morocco and possibly coming prohibition in India. Is bound to confirm concerns on part of some that the wisdom of investing crypto due to the possibility of such government prohibition. So there's two sort of schools of thought. One is, hey, the government's doing this, so this is a positive sign and why we should be, this is exactly why you want to be in crypto. Governments don't like it. Why is it they don't like it? They don't like it because they can't control the issuance of money. They don't like it because they want to have control of the value of your money. They don't like it that you're able to be your own bank in essence and have control of your own finances that they can't confiscate, they can't censor in any way. And it's protected. They can't print more of it or inflate its value away. And they don't like the fact that you have that ability. So countries, therefore, some people say long term, that's good for crypto. The other flip side is short term, this is negative. Short term, the people who are in it just to get rich, this is the problem, because the real riches come long term with freedom, and it's less so in financial value. Of course, I believe that it's in financial as well, but it's ultimately the financial freedom that you have with cryptocurrency. So banning cryptocurrency payments throughout the country comes as the Turkish lira has faced significant outside selling pressure. So notice what they're doing. The lira is their official currency. The lira is their official currency. So they're doing this to protect their currency. The currency plunged in foreign exchanges following the president's firing of the nation's top central banker, Nassim Agbal, in March. Many have turned to cryptocurrency as an alternative method of payment in order to circumvent the issues plaguing the lira. So what are these issues? Well, one issue would be something like inflation. It's losing value. Just like in Venezuela, people turn to Bitcoin. They turn to cryptocurrency. So what do the governments do? They try to make it illegal. This may continue to happen in other countries. We have to pay attention to this. And I believe there is a possibility using it. They may say, hey, you can own Bitcoin as a store of value, but you can't transact in it. And they can easily monitor those transactions when you do KYC, AML, and it's attached to your wallet. So this is going to be interesting. This is worth paying attention to. The short term, the Bitcoin price fell absolutely because of this. Now here's something else that has to do with trading. This is what made the drop yesterday so much worse. First, you had this tweet come out, then you had this news announcement, and then we're in this bull market. So you got people. Oh, we'll come to that. Oh, I don't want to give that away yet. Right here. Funding stress. So we've been in a bull market. So what the funding stress is talking about, let's just start this here and I'll explain it to you. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in general looked overheated, and the Asian session drop was a likely funding reset needed for a sustained move above 50,000. So they're saying that basically people have used a lot of credit or a lot of leverage to buy into crypto. And what they've done is the prices were going up, they were taking their gains and they were leveraging it again. They were taking their gains and they were leveraging it again. So a dip in the market caused the funding rate, the collateral limits or requirements to go up. People couldn't meet those requirements, so they basically lost out, and it unraveled those positions, which is good long term. I mean, you don't want a market that's overheated with the price are going up just solely exclusively with a bunch of borrowing. You want the price going up with a true exchange of value of 1-to-1. I use my dollars to buy crypto, for example. That's how you ultimately want the market to go up. One exchange for another, not borrowing money or borrowing crypto to be able to buy more Bitcoin or to buy other cryptocurrencies. So that pullback caused an unraveling in the leveraged markets, and that may have caused the price to drop even further. So long term, what do I think about this? Well, keep in mind, I'm the YouTuber that believes, just my opinion, not financial advice, that long term Bitcoin's going to go up in value, drastically up. I mean, it affects it affects some of my fundamental investment decisions. But when you see the price of Bitcoin pull back like this, you see the price of cryptocurrency pull back this hard, almost every crypto asset or every crypto investment is going to be affected in some way, no question about it. However, I will tell you the mogul method, which I haven't talked about in a while on this channel, but investing in tokenized gaming assets that are paying a dividend, that has been the most consistent investment for me going, and I may cover it more in depth on another video, but in a bull market or a bear market, it doesn't mean that there's no effect whatsoever, but people that are gaming most often are either using gains from the current market, or many of them, the majority, are pulling in fresh fiat to buy cryptocurrency, and they're using that cryptocurrency for gaming. So there's not a lot of leverage that affects that business model, for example. And the actual assets are really tied to the dividends that they earn. So when you're able to earn dividends from an ongoing business, a business whose business practices are resilient in good economies and bad economies, the entertainment and industry as a whole is very resilient. The gaming industry as a whole is even more resilient than the recreational entertainment industry. So that subset is very good. I've got an entire video where I talk about this strategy. I'll link it above. I'll put it down in the description. Now, long term, where does crypto go? And going from here, I want to kind of talk to you about, I told you, someone asked me today, I have $10,000 to invest. What should I do with it? What crypto should I buy? I'm going to share with you what I told him, but I want to first show you kind of this bonus right here. People's Bank of China softens tone towards Bitcoin. Now, this is incredible. Listen, if you're watching right now, you're awesome. If you're watching right now, you're about to get something that most people in crypto do not understand. Like, I'm not going to say like this is inside knowledge, but I'm going to say very few people or not enough people talk about this. So if you're investing in crypto, you're here, you like earning passive income with cryptocurrency, then you follow my channel, and I appreciate you because I love earning passive income in cryptocurrency as well. I believe in the future of cryptocurrency, but this right here fundamentally is why I believe in the future of cryptocurrency. There's some telltale signs in this news story that we're going to look at right now, and I'm going to share it with you. So People's Bank of China softens tone towards Bitcoin stablecoins, calling them alternative investment. In a rare show of support for cryptocurrencies, a deputy governor of the People's Bank of China has reportedly singled out Bitcoin and stablecoins as feasible investments. Speaking at the Whatever Forum of Asia on Sunday, Li Bo said while he and his central bank believe digital assets are viable investment vehicles, there was a clear distinction to that of the digital yuan, according to a report by the journalist Colin Wu. An encrypted asset is an investment option. It is not currency itself, said Lee. It is an alternative investment. So they're saying, hey, crypto is not a currency. It's an alternative investment. I've told you before on this channel how governments were going to try to publicly sideline cryptocurrency. They're going to try to call it, they're going to fight it by outlawing it, or they're going to try to demonize it by saying it's used for money laundering, or they're going to say, hey, it's not a currency. It's a store of value. And it is also, incidentally, a good store of value. But they want to kind of relegate it from a PR standpoint. They don't want people thinking it's a currency. Otherwise, they might use it as a currency. And that's a major problem for most centralized governments around the world. And as you can see right here, China's doing this. But let's keep going because it gets better. We believe that the encrypted assets, Bitcoin and stablecoins, should play a major role in the future, either as an investment tool or as an alternative investment. Now, the reason this is interesting is there's no way a stable coin is an investment. So again, you got to read between the lines a little bit, and don't worry if you can't do it. I'm here. I'll do it for you. Just be sure to subscribe so you can catch these videos. But stable coins are not an investment. They're always pegged to a dollar. No one's investing in a stable coin. They're pegged to the dollar in a very centralized way. It's just a centralized way that's outside of a centralized government, meaning a company is the one who sets the peg or monitors the peg or manages the peg for a stable coin. The price of Bitcoin was at $57,000, up 2.42% in the past 24 hours, recouping some of the losses occurred over the weekend. The digital yuan will also not replace the US dollar. Listen carefully. The digital yuan will not replace the US dollar, and that is its internalization was to be a natural process dependent on market demand. Lee said The digital yuan will not replace the U.S. dollar, and that its internationalization will be a natural process dependent on market demand, Lee said at the same event, according to the report by Bloomberg on Sunday. Last week, catch this, U.S. President Joe Biden's administration was reportedly troubled by the potential long-term effects a digital yuan could have on the dollar's status as the world reserve currency. Ladies and gentlemen, this is incredible. So I've talked about on this channel how much debt the U.S. is going in, and I believe that Bitcoin ultimately could be valued at more than $1 million. And I've said $1 million, meaning it could be valued at more than $1 million in today's buying power, in last year's buying power, because the dollar's weaker. It buys less this year than it did last year. And so I said that based on really all the way back to 2019. And the reason that I believe that is because I understood that long term what was happening. And this right here, and I've often said, the amount of debt that we're going into is why Bitcoin's going to exist. It's why we're ultimately going to have a decentralized cryptocurrency, ladies and gentlemen. It's why we're going to have a decentralized cryptocurrency. Catch that, ladies and gentlemen. That's incredible. And here, right here, and I've said the only reason that the America has as much debt as they have is because we have the world's reserve currency. If you don't understand what that means, you should watch the video Money as Debt. I'll link it above. You should take a look at that. And right here, the presidential administration, Biden's administration, they're troubled that the digital yuan could have the effect the digital yuan could have on the U.S. dollar status as the world reserve currency. The deputy governor also underscored that he sees as the need for strong regulatory framework by ensuring speculative assets do not cause substantial financial risk. If we want such encrypted assets, stablecoins, to become a widely used payment solution, we need a stronger regulatory rule, which is more stringent than Bitcoin's current regulation. In other words, we need to tighten down on it. We need to create more laws, more rules against it. China's former central bank, whatever, also attending the forum, agreed with Lee, stating that everyone has to distinguish between digital assets and digital currencies. Whether it is digital currency or is a digital asset, it should be closely integrated with the real economy and serve the real economy. China is currently ahead in the race of major economies, developing a central bank digital currency, and is planning a major trial of its digital yuan during the Winter Olympics in Beijing 2022. So let's take a look right here. What has the Biden administration been saying? Biden's administration is concerned over long-term effects of digital yuan. Officials at multiple government departments are increasing efforts to better understand any possible threat posed by the U.S. dollar by China's digital yuan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is astounding to me the amount of money that's probably being spent on supposedly highly educated people to learn about cryptocurrency. And I'm telling you right now, they could reach out to Crypto Wealth right now and I could give them an earful and they wouldn't have to worry about paying me a dime of taxpayers' dollars. Because it is amazing that they can't figure out the effect that this is going to have on the long term of the U.S. dollar. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have a clue, then I'm going to encourage you to do some research, listen to podcasts, go look at YouTubers talking about this stuff, subscribe to this channel. This is why cryptocurrency is so important. This right here, these long-term effects, this jockeying that's taking place, because we the citizens are kind of caught in the middle. We're kind of sandwiched between big governments manipulating their own economies for their own power and control. But at the end of the day, we get screwed in the current fiat system. It's only through cryptocurrency, which cannot be controlled by centralized governments. It's only through decentralized cryptocurrencies that we're able to secure our own freedom long term. Now, I do believe that, not financial advice. However, do understand in the short term, we may see tremendous price manipulation and fluctuations. We may see 80% drops in Bitcoin. Remember the gentleman asked me, he said $10,000, which would you purchase? Which crypto would you purchase? Hold that thought. I'm going to share with you in a moment. I want to finish this up. So we come down here. President Joe Biden's administration is reportedly troubled by the long-term effect a digital yuan may have on the dollar's status of the world reserve currency. There it is. Boom, bang. Right there. They are concerned. The President of the United States and his administration have literally expressed concern that our dollar may not always be the world reserve currency. Why is that a problem for you and I? Because overnight, our currency would become worthless very, very, very fast. If suddenly, and we don't know what that looks like, and we don't know how quickly that shift could happen. But understand, countries like Venezuela and Argentina, they all hit hyperinflation within 5 to 10 years of having their best years. So it can happen very, very quickly. And I'm not saying that to be like to scare you about the future of tomorrow in your US dollars, but I say it that it's important to understand that we're seeing this. When I first was saying this 2 years ago, 3 years ago on this channel, it wasn't getting talked about anywhere at all. And I would get occasional comments like tinfoil hat. And of course, that never bothered me because that was clearly someone that didn't understand like the basics of economics. The smartest people in the room understood these risks were always there. And I'm not one of the smartest people in the room. But if you go look at Alan Greenspan, even before Alan Greenspan was the Fed chairman way back when, he understood the risk of inflation. And he spent a long time during and after his tenure as Fed chairman defending policies that can bring about inflation. And he constantly defended those policies, and he knew he had to defend those policies because in his conscience, he understood that there was a lot of risk of inflation. And he tried to say, well, you know, basically when you're in the hot seat, you have to make decisions, and you have to make decisions for the welfare of the people, even if you know there's a lot of risk in the decisions that you're making. He didn't say that. I just summed up several of his arguments in one sentence. So you don't have to be super brilliant. You just have to pay attention to headlines. And when you see this right here, President Joe Biden's administration is reportedly troubled by the long-term effects of a digital yuan may have on the dollar status of the world reserve currency. Ladies and gentlemen, that tells you right there that the fiat dollar system is in trouble. So I believe, and I'm going to put a link at the end of this video, but I believe that the Bitcoin's going to reach $1 million or more. And I explain why, and I show you the math. That's my personal belief. Now, when someone comes to me and says, hey, what should I invest in? Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't financial advice. Nothing in this video should be considered financial advice. But when I got the text today where a buddy of mine who's a financial advisor, a traditional financial advisor, very successful in the financial advising world, but he doesn't know anything about crypto, he's not in crypto. He occasionally asks me questions. And by the way, this is the first time he's asked me this. A while back, he said, hey, I got about $30,000 I'll invest in crypto. How should I do it? I gave him the same advice then that I'm going to give you now. And the challenge is he still hadn't taken that advice or he wouldn't be sending me that text today. Hey, I got $10,000. You know, what would you invest it in? And I told him, I said I would invest it in none of them. Now there is something I would do if I was him. There's one or two things, but I told him I wouldn't invest in any one of them. And I didn't go down. He didn't ask me a lot, so I didn't tell him a lot. And I wouldn't want to. Many of you watching this video are more advanced than a total brand new person would be. Truthfully, I would, if I was him right now, if it was my $10,000, I would look at some of the trading bots I'm investing with, but I haven't even talked about that on this channel yet, but I will be talking about it soon. So I'm still testing out some bots. In fact, I'll show you quickly just what's been going on. These are this was yesterday. This was about $30-something. I'm over $80 today so far, right here. This was $30-something. So even on a low day, the bots are turning profit. So, and I've been running this for a couple weeks, and I reset my bots and made a simple adjustment. I didn't realize that they were going to all basically wipe out they weren't going to show what I had earned on the bots, but that's okay. I'm going to keep tracking this for a couple of weeks, and I love the fact that we've got this market turbulence because it really shows me how the bots are going to do, but they tend to do really well unless the market takes a sudden, sharp, super sharp, permanent downturn. So far they're doing really well. So if I was him, that's one thing that I would consider doing. The other thing that I would consider doing is checking out the mogul mining method and investing in tokenized gaming assets, because they just do seem that has been my most resilient investment for now. With that being said, it's like everything else, it can be very risky. But if it comes down to what would I buy now, two things. I sent an email out to my email list earlier today, and I told them this. By the way, you can subscribe to my email newsletter down in the description. But I told them it's the 2 Ds. It's diversify and dollar cost average. Look at the top 10, top 15 cryptocurrencies. Look at the ones that like you would want to own no matter what. And then, go ahead and get into 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. However many you need. More diversification could be more safety. But understand, the entire crypto market can crash. If we see major government regulations in a major country like the UK, Australia, US, Canada maybe, if we see major regulations that say, hey, you can't buy or sell crypto They do something like India's talking about doing, something like Turkey's looking at doing, and they take some sort of draconian measure like that, we could see the entire market just tank by a substantial amount. Like, that is possible. That is 100% possible. And you have to be aware of that when you're coming into crypto. So one is diversify. The other thing is I would never just drop in a lump sum. If I had $10,000 I want to invest, I would split that up over the next several weeks, maybe the next several months. And I would dollar cost average. The key is you don't want to make the mistake of buying in at a peak. You don't want to buy now and all of a sudden we enter a bear market. Where if you would have been dollar cost averaging over a little bit every single week, you would be doing good and you would make certain that you didn't accidentally buy in at the highs. Have you ever been one of those people that you bought an investment and it seemed like every time you bought the investment, it dropped? Or if you tried to short sell it, it went up. Like, whatever you try to do, the investment does the exact opposite when you make up your mind to get in. I know that I've been in that position before as well. When you dollar cost average, you don't have to worry about that. And so I would never take a lump sum and just try to, it's not a lottery. Like, listen, if you believe long-term in cryptocurrency, if you understand the fundamentals, some of which I've discussed in this video today, and if you actually align yourself and agree with those fundamentals, then you have a strong belief that long-term Bitcoin's going up. Long-term Bitcoin might hit $1 million or more. Like, that is mathematically feasible and it's possible. Watch the video. I'm going to put it into this this video, the end card or end screen, whatever it's called. Watch that video. But mathematically, that is possible. That is clearly possible. But if you don't believe in that, then maybe, just maybe, if you don't believe like the fundamentals of cryptocurrency and long term they're going to go up, maybe you don't get in. But, you know, I tell my wife, everything that goes into crypto as an investment, consider it an expense. Just consider it an expense because it is so volatile, you just cannot get emotionally attached to it. Know that it's going to go up and it can be awesome. You can sell some and take some profits off the table if you want, but expect that it will go down just as quick as it went up. Ladies and gentlemen, we've not even begun to see what the governments are going to do and how they're going to attack this technology. I promise you, they don't want you and me, the little guy, having the kind of power and freedom and control over our own personal finances and our own currency that cryptocurrency allows us to have. I believe that. I understand that. Please share your thoughts with me down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Smash that like button. Decentralized cryptocurrency equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.